De acuerdo a su historia, Andrew Basiago finalmente realizaría un viaje hasta Marte. ¿Y qué fue lo que encontró? ¿Pudo respirar allá? ¿Cuál era la temperatura? Aquí le presento los detalles. Una historia sin duda fascinante que nos habla de colonias de seres humanos en Marte, que nos habla de lo que podría ser fantasía o podría ser la extraordinaria realidad que no conocemos, pero que podríamos ya vivir el día de hoy. Conozca usted esta historia en exclusiva, aquí en Tercer Milenio.
Late June of 1981, I said, why should I go? Why are you asking me to go to Mars? And he said, because the survival of human life depends on it.
Esta es la histórica narración, la crónica del viaje de un ser humano al planeta Marte, gracias a la teletransportación.
I couldn't tell that much was happening. All that was happening was that panels of light on the top and bottom of the elevator started blinking. And then about 10 minutes into the 20-minute journey to Mars, the entire form of this box-like elevator began to morph and crumple and reposition itself into a cylinder. And when that happened, I had to steady myself in the elevator, such as you would if you're walking through a water main. You know, you're walking in a cylindrical object, so you have to kind of steady yourself. And I saw that the ceiling had become the surface I was looking at, and I could see this sort of swirling pattern. They had opened up a vortal tunnel in the fabric of time-space, just as the teleporter did back when I was a child on Project Pegasus. And that lasted for maybe 2 to 4 minutes or so, and then it began, the cylinder, and then it began correcting itself, and then it just completely rectified its original shape. And then about 10 minutes later, as Courtney had described, the door opened, and I walked out into what looked like, if you can imagine sort of the basement of a modern sports arena, the infrastructure of that built into an existing underground cavern of an ancient civilization. There was sort of a big cave in which I could see these modern tension struts, a sort of infrastructure that had been placed inside, and the jump room itself had been placed inside this ancient cavern.
¿Qué encontró Basiago al pisar la superficie del planeta rojo? ¿Qué fue lo primero que Andrew Basiago observó al estar en Marte?
I walked through what was clearly the irregular eye sockets of some kind of skull on the surface. I turned around, I could see it was a skull. I could see the rust-red terrain of Mars. I could see that Mars has a pale blue sky. I could see that, or sense rather, that Mars smelt of gunpowder, which must have been some sulfur content, at least at that location.
What is the temperature on Mars? What do they eat on Mars?
It was about 70 degrees. Now, the conventional scientific literature about Mars states either that Mars is prohibitively cold or that Mars has temperate regions that would be survivable by humans. I don't know where I was sent via the jump room at 999 North Sepulveda Boulevard in El Segundo, the Hughes building that the jump room was in. All I know is that they sent me there.
¿Encontró Andrew Basiago vida en Marte?
And I turned and I saw a small human being from our civilization on Earth run up to me. And then 2 more individuals a couple years older than me, I would say they were maybe 21, 22, 23 years of age, ran up to me, two men and a woman. And I was interacting with the first individual who ran up to my location. And they were clearly human beings from Earth. They weren't Martians. They looked normal. They were speaking English.
Además del testimonio de Andrew, el doctor Alfred Webre asegura conocer más testimonios no relacionados entre sí de quienes aseguran también fueron teletransportados a Marte, como Michael Rowe, integrante de las Fuerzas Armadas de Estados Unidos entre 1976 y 96 en la base de Marte, o Arthur Newman, científico del Departamento de Defensa.
Y igualmente dice la misma historia que Andrew, que él ha ido allá y ha estado con extraterrestres marcianos en la base secreta de Estados Unidos en Marte, y también otro, Aaron McCollum, que es de la operación Seagate.
¿Y todos estos testigos coinciden en sus declaraciones?
Todos, y están congruentes los unos con los otros, y hasta Michael Relf ha escrito 2 libros con todos los detalles.
Alfred Webre nos confirma que la historia que cuenta Andrew Basiago es verdadera.